All right. What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? What is going on, guys? Got John Aramis in the place. What's going on, guys? Good to see y'all in here. Who said? John said good morning. All right. Is it? Where are you at? Where's morning? That's what's up. What's going on, Miss Bailey? How are you, Miss Bailey? Good to see you. Always a pleasure, Brother Aramis. Hope everybody had a good one. John is in Norway. All right. Well, thanks for coming through, brother, all the way from Norway. What's going on, Latonya? Good to see you in here. Latonya said, "Hell, everyone." Oh, shoot. Miss Bailey said, "I am fine. Are you now?" Okay, that's what's up. I am glad you are fine. What's going on, Wendy Seeley? Hope you are doing well. As you all come in, if you could please like the video so we can get as many people, as many my lifers as possible in this thing, I would greatly appreciate it. So yeah, man, I'm glad everybody seems to be happy, having a good day. It's been a good day here in Nashville. Got a lot of stuff done today. And it's about that time. Gotta pay money to drive my car. You know, gotta pay to have a license, to have the ability to drive my car. What's up, Self-Care Boss? Good to see you in here as usual. Self-Care Boss says he's out here finishing this run. Okay. All right. All right. Where you running to, Self-Care Boss? Finishing what run? Latonya Smith says she's on her phone this time. That's why she's telling us all to go to hell. What's up, Willow B? How are you, young lady? Good to see you in the chat. Good to see you in the chat. We'll go ahead and Okay. We'll go ahead and run this quick little, well, not little. We'll let everybody know while Self-Care Boss is in here. Today's show is sponsored by Self-Care Boss herself and her business, Couture Massage, located at 1439 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Her website is www.couturemassage.com. Her office number is 615-746-7606. And she is making sure musicians and entrepreneurs of all kinds become self-care bosses. She also has a book, an ebook that you can download, Becoming a Self-Care Boss, 31 Days to Self-Discovery. You can get that at her website as well. And that's www.couturemassage.com/shop. So let's support our sister who is in the chat, doing her thing to make sure we are all healthy and relaxed and taking care of ourselves and becoming self-care bosses. Thank you so much, Self-Care Boss. That's what's up. So, guys, yeah, if you're in the Nashville or Murfreesboro area, or you're anywhere and want to download that book, download our sister's book. If you guys would like, you can also support me on Patreon. K Fits My Life. I've added a couple of videos on Patreon. Thank you to Willow B for your support. Also, what's the robot brother's name? He tried to support. There was an error. So I don't think it worked properly, but it's the thought that counts. So I appreciate that brother reaching out to even try to be a patron. So I'm pretty sure it's letting him know that there's something going on with that, but whatever. It's only like $1. I'm not trying to get, ball out of control, rich, but it's just, that's the way the Patreon is set up. So yeah, that works. Also, I will be doing a few live streams straight from Patreon once there are enough people. I think I'll just go ahead and start doing something now, because I want to do some shows about content that YouTube probably would not allow. So, so yeah, that last sex, like I said yesterday, that sex show, they were like, yeah, you're not getting anything for that. That's not going to happen. So yeah. So if you want to become a patron and support the channel, you can visit patreon.com/KFitsMyLife. You can also support the channel on PayPal. I got some PayPal stuff set up. PayPal.me/KFitsMyLife. You can support there. And if you would like to have your business featured on the show, you can email me at kfitsmylife@hotmail.com, and we will definitely get your business featured on the show. All right. We will definitely get your business featured on the show. So just email me and let me know what type of business you have and what you're trying to accomplish. And as long as you're not selling children or selling ass, we will definitely see if we can get you out there. All right. So that's what's up. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, Latonya Smith said Pillowgate. Yeah, that was, I think, was that the show? I think, no, we just had a show where we were talking about things that they told you couldn't do sexually, being a Jehovah's Witness. So everybody just started going buck wild talking about sex. Oh, it was an amazing time. It was fun as hell. I super enjoyed it. But it will definitely not be on YouTube. That junk will definitely get that junk was flagged immediately. That show was over and they said, yes, we will not be featuring this show at all anywhere. So I thought today we would talk about something that's going to leave a lot of I guess opinions for people to come in and call in if necessary, if they feel the need, and give their opinion. Because I want to talk about what we thought was more important, or where more focus should lie: freeing minds or caring for freed minds. And I've been thinking about that for a while. Because, as I put in the description, all of us have friends and families that we wish were free and not in the organization. We miss them. We wish that we could help them become free. And aside from the ones that we know personally, as a collective, there are about, 8 million Jehovah's Witnesses? So those are a lot of people who are in the matrix. Latonya Smith says, I will call. Yes, thank you, Latonya. So it's a lot like, I don't know if any of you saw the video that I did, the new script I'm doing about the matrix and the watchtower. But it's very similar to that, because There are millions of people in the matrix, in the Watchtower matrix. And while a lot of us want them to be free and we want to help them, they can't be helped if they don't want help, right? But we care about them and we want to free them. We want to free them from the matrix. Now, conversely, there are a very minute in comparison, or by comparison, number of us who have been freed and walked away from the Watchtower. And walking away, we deal with more than the people who are still in, because we are actually able to see the desert of the real world, as I was saying in that Matrix video. So that begs the question, okay, who or where should our focus lie? Those of us who are out that want to help each other, or others of us who are out, because we deal with a lot being out of the organization. But I wonder, where should we concentrate our focus? Those of us who are out have a way of being out and saying, okay, we're out of the organization. We're done. Even though we still have these issues that linger on after we've gone, we still want to put ourselves on the back burner sometimes and help these people. Some of us do. Some of us are like, forget those people. But where does the focus lie? What do you guys think? Should we focus our attention on trying to help these people get free of the matrix? Or should we say, forget them, they're in there, they're gone. Let's just focus on the people who have already left. All right? Let's see. Self-care. Let's look at the chat for a second. Self-care boss says, I feel like caring for freed minds is more important because it's hard to convince folk to free themselves. It's a very valid point. It's very difficult to convince them to free themselves. But one thing that I have noticed during this show is that, not during this particular show, but during the show in general, that most people are still saying that we shouldn't give up on them, that we should keep trying. At what point do we say, okay, we've tried enough, we're not trying anymore, we're done? Is there a point that we get to where we say, okay, we're no longer trying, we're done? Is there a point where we give up and solely concentrate on the people that have freed themselves or who have been freed and totally forget about the ones who are still in? What do you guys think? We'll go ahead and put the number up. If anyone has an opinion, what happened? Let's see, did something happen? Hello? Is my mic still on? Yeah, we go. There we go. It never went away. Okay. So, what do we think, guys? Willow B says you can only help the ones that want help. Okay. All right. Latonya Smith says no, but I'm not sure what she's saying no to. Go ahead and call in, Latonya. You know you want to call in. Go ahead and call in. You always have something good to say. What you got to say? And while we are right, we can only help the ones that want help. Do we just no longer help them? That's like saying we know somebody is in trouble. They may not know they're in trouble, but we can see it coming. Do we just not help somebody who's in danger because they're unaware that they're in danger? John Seth says, think those who are out should have the priority. Those who are out should have the priority. Okay. All right, let's see who we have. You are on with K Fits My Life. What's your name and where you calling from?
Latonya Smith.
What's going on, Latonya? How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good.
Good. What's on your mind?
Um, it's it's both, but it's more of one than the other.
Okay.
Um, Focusing our care on the ones that are already out, and here's why. The ones that are already out, uh, you have to have the care and the counseling and everything, the therapy, to do everything to help them, because the ones that are still in, they need a healthy, stable, loving, and authentic community to come to.
Mm-hmm.
If they're waking up and coming out, and they are, if the people outside have not dealt with the problem that the cult has put on them and all the residuals, if we don't have a system where they're not dealing with them very well, then that's not a good, how would I say, it wouldn't make the ones coming out feel that they have anywhere stable to go to. And if you just have the attitude, forget about them, well, what if they took that attitude 5 or 10 years ago? I wouldn't have seen the Australia Royal Commission, and so many others wouldn't have come out.
Mm-hmm.
The XW community, with all of the problems they're having to deal with, I think they're doing an awesome job in bonding with one another. There's a website, I can't think of it right now, that you can go in there, and a lot of, we would have said, brothers and sisters have gone through training
Mm-hmm.
to have therapy, so that they can have code specific help for Jehovah's Witnesses coming out. I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then the activists have worked very, very hard to get this to the media, to the press, to the public. That doesn't come from an attitude of forget them, there's nothing to do, just give up on them.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening is it's being so effective that it really is helping wake up the ones that are fully indoctrinated. So no, if we have a healthy community, if you have to choose one or the other, build a healthy community for the ones waking up to come to.
Agreed. Very well put. Very well said. Very well
Yeah.
said. Do you think that the ones who are out, do you think that there is something that they can, or all of us can do, to try to organize or sit down to try to figure out a way to free the ones who are in? Because one of my issues personally is that I have absolutely no way to I don't have any thought of how to free these people or what to say to them. And do you think that it's possible for us to come together and figure out a way that is going to be the best way to help free people?
I guess they could, but the thing is, and a couple in the chat room and you have already touched on this, you have to be ready to wake up, because what you're dealing with is fear, apprehension. You're dealing with a lot of deeply indoctrinated stuff. You're dealing with, they have to be prepared to stay in their own selves. I know I probably mentioned before, I was never of the mind to say, no, I'm not going to listen to apostate-driven lies, but for me personally, I really had to prepare myself emotionally and psychologically before I went to do what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people, Kay, have been dumbed down and pummeled and psychologically abused so much that if you really force them, it can do more damage. So it just takes, like it's been happening, they've been hearing a little bit here, and maybe they don't believe it. They've been seeing a little bit there. They've been experiencing a little bit here. They've been seeing indiscrepancies. It's just everybody does have to, like many have mentioned, they have to have their own emotional Armageddon. That is that one thing that happens that breaks the camel back, or that really um, makes the house of cards fall for them. And for
Mm-hmm.
everybody, it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to want. They're going to fight it if they're if it's put to them before they're ready.
Mm.
The best thing we can do is create the most healthiest, the most safest, loving, supportive, and resourceful community for them to come to. But the byproduct of that is that there's so much information being put out, and especially with the up to date, that they're coming across it. And right now, so many things are happening. More and more of them are starting to say, "Hey, I've been hearing about this. I think I'm gonna start checking it out. I'm gonna work through the sphere and check it out. I gotta see what's happening because something isn't right." And all the, things like that going on in a lot of their minds. So yes, a healthy resource. I think as time goes past, the XJW community are seeing where things were lacking,
Mm-hmm.
and they seem to be making those things available. Like, oh, I can't think of the website right now. I don't know if it's jw.org or I don't know if it's,
jwfacts.org.
yeah, or Critical Thinkers. It's
Oh,
one of
okay.
those.
Yeah,
Maybe
XJW
it's their
Critical Thinker.
website,
Uh-huh.
or maybe it's JW Surveys. One of those websites have it where they have a list of ex-JWs who have gone and took therapy to deal with the damage, and I think that is super awesome. And I think, and the JW meetups,
Mm-hmm.
I think if more of us can start doing it in our own area, like right now, I don't know. I still gotta find out who is awake in the Battle Creek area, my area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I gotta figure. I'm talking to another ex-JW in Bay City, and she is super, super awesome.
Okay.
But she's way in Bay City, though. But we are in Michigan. I gotta figure this out. But like I was saying before, what I want to do here, and I talked to Mike and Kim about it, is that I want to get together some documents and things to deal with the court here in Battle Creek, and deal with the school system, and deal with the therapists here in Battle Creek, to create something where they can come to here. But I gotta find out who's awake and who can call me without, knowing they can call me, and knowing that I'm not gonna go turn them into the elders or something. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that. I don't know what to do about that.
Well, maybe that's something we all can talk about on here tonight too. We'll try to figure that thing out. But I think you made a very, very good point, Latonya. Really good point. And there's some other people who are weighing in on the chat too. So let's see if we can figure out what we think the best solution is. All right. So let me get another call, Latonya. Thank you so much for calling in first. Hopefully you broke the ice with your great call.
Thank you. All right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Great call as usual. Made some very good points, man. Some very good points. Wendy Seeley says something interesting. She says something really interesting. Wendy Seeley says, "No, we must keep trying. If someone did not help me, I would still be asleep in the cult, so we cannot give up on them. I want to help, just not sure what I must do." So what else do we think, guys? Somebody else give us a ring. And let's talk about it. Do you think we should concentrate more on freeing minds or caring for the freed minds? Or a third option, should we try to figure a way to find some type of mediator between the two? Is there a way to have some type of mediation with these people? Is there a way to have a group of us who actually form some type of organization that is able to actually have a conversation with these people? HP says freeing minds. Why don't you give us a call, HP, and tell us why you think that? Use your built-in dial-up modem, call in, and transfer that information to us. All right. Great Dane, how are you? Good to see you, Great Dane, in the show. I'm sure you have a great opinion on this topic. You always call in with some great points. But somebody else, tell us why you think freeing minds. I've had a couple people that have said freeing minds. I've had a couple people who said taking care of the people who are freed. HP says all the freed people should show them the life they live and how much better it is. But we can't, because they won't look into our lives. That's the thing. We can't get them to pay attention to what we're doing, because they automatically inherently think our lives are horrible and that we're evil because we've left the organization. And personally, I'm not really sure where I stand on this topic, which is why I want to even have the show, because I don't really know. I know that I want to help the people who are already out. I want to help the people who are in. But the issue is that, as Latonya said, I'm not sure how to help either way. I'm not sure how to help the ones who are in. And I think it's going to come to a point where it's just going to be incumbent upon us as the people who are out to figure a way to help the ones who are still in. But I think we're going to have to collectively figure out a way to do that. What way is that? Does anyone have any ideas about how to do that? Because I really think freeing minds is a huge deal. Freeing minds is a huge deal. Great Dane says, my father is 89 years old. It would devastate him to learn he wasted his life. I love him enough to let him shun me until his death. Once he dies, I will be going full out to free my siblings. That is a very, very, very interesting take. Because at the same time, we do have to think, again, it's just like in the Matrix. Morpheus says they don't free a mind after it reaches a certain age. It can be a shock. It can be too much for the mind to handle. Is there a detriment to freeing people? Is there a certain point where we just have to say, you know what, these people are never going to be free. We can't free them. It's too late now. They're too set in their ways. We can't help them. Because I think Wendy Seeley said, don't give up. Keep trying. If it wasn't for someone helping her, she would still be in. Right? So what do we do, guys? What do you think? Everyone's kind of quiet tonight. What do we think? This is a deep one. This is a deep question. Which is why I wanted to ask you guys. I don't have the answer to this one. Willow B says, I still do things and help my family, although they are in. It's not their fault that they are blinded and only hear and pay attention to what they want to. We all did the same until we woke up. That is very true. That is very, very true. But I think one of the differences between you and some people is that your family is still allowing you to do things for them. What about those of us whose families don't allow you to do anything for them? How do we reach them then, or do we not even try? Or do we just say, you know what, I get it. You're going to shun me for the rest of your life. There is absolutely nothing at all I can do about that. It's quiet in the chat tonight. Are we thinking, or are we bored? Are we thinking? Are we thinking? What do we think? This is a very, very difficult topic, and I don't know the answer, and I need you guys' help too. Tracy says, sometimes like little boy at the ocean with starfish. Well, I helped that one. Don't understand that. Latonya Smith says, oh, okay, Latonya Smith's talking to Great Dane. Wow. A sister that she calls Ma will be 100 in February. She's in the nursing home saying Armageddon is near. Willow B says, chuck the deuces if they don't want the help. You can lead a horse to water, but can't make it drink. Great Dane says, not bored. Cool. I know a lot of people whose mind I want to help free. Even when I was still talking to my daughter's mother, I would try to talk to her and tell her things that would help her to be able to leave the organization. But the indoctrination is just so strong. And I think I was fortunate because I grew up always in, but I've never been in enough to where I wasn't able to listen to other things. And I think that saved me. A lot of people don't have that ability. A lot of people don't have the ability to say, yes, I'm in this organization, but I'm not in it so much that I can't hear or see anything else. And I think that was me. Now, I tried very, very hard to really be a good Jehovah's Witness. I tried real hard. It just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't. And no matter how hard I tried, there were times when I would try really, really hard to be a good Jehovah's Witness. But I don't know. I think there was always a little bit of doubt in my mind. And for me, it wasn't a person. It was a dream. That it started off maybe just questioning things, but that dream that I had was the real catalyst for me walking away. I don't know if everybody else has the ability to have something like that, but that's what helped me. What's going on, KB? It's good to see you. But, until I started this channel, there was no one else that I could speak to that was in the organization, that had left the organization, that was currently out of the organization, that I could talk to about how it felt to leave. The only time that had actually ever happened was one time when my mother had left the organization, and she was talking about how crazy it was. She said, "Yes, this stuff don't make sense." And I said, "Yeah, I know it doesn't make sense." And then, she went back into the organization. So that's just a result of you think you're freeing somebody, or you think someone is freed, and then they're not. So you're still trying to free them, but you are still dealing with the things that you have to deal with as someone who is freed, and all of the negative effects of being a freed person, you're still dealing with, right? So there's that middle ground where things kind of clash. But even in your issue, you still want to help the ones who are still in. So do you negate what you're dealing with to help them? Everybody's writing these huge paragraphs in the chat. Nobody wants to call in and just say it. Let's read through the chat. Aramis says, "That's how I felt, mostly because my mom wasn't a JW, but I still attended the Kingdom Hall and Bible studies. Just back and forth between different churches and religions. Rough." Okay. Great Dane says, "To me, it's like racism. That mentality will die out as older ones die off and younger, more enlightened folks come along. I think as this Renaissance time goes on, older JWs will die off." Interesting, Great Dane. But just like with racism, Great Dane, to your point, which I think is a very, very, very interesting point, racism is taught. And, older people aren't going to stop teaching younger people racism. And they are still going to indoctrinate younger people with racism. Racism, classism, elitism. Those things will all still be passed down, the same way that the Watchtower is always going to pass down its belief to younger ones too. We see videos of them training kids to give talks. I mean, hell, I was giving talks when I was like 5 or 6. I couldn't even reach the platform. They had to put a little stool for me to step up onto so that I could reach the microphone. Oh, actually, no, they would when I gave my first talk, I was so little, they just took the mic stand and made it go all the way down. And I remember everybody laughing at me because I was so little giving my first talk. So they're indoctrinating them younger and younger now. So that's still, don't you think they're still going to pass down that way of thinking? John Sell says, "I think more rank and file witnesses have doubts than we realize. And sooner or later, that doubt will lead them to research. The times have changed, especially after the internet." I agree. But we still have to think of how many of that 8 million people are actually doubting anything. How many of that? Because 8 million is a lot of people. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. Tracy says, Tracy Campo, I think that's how I'm saying it. Hopefully I'm not murdering your name. "I'm having trouble thinking of how to put it. The poem is about a little boy being asked by an adult, 'Why are you throwing the starfish from the beach back into the water?' The adult had given up on the starfish on the shore. The little boy insisted he helped save that starfish from dying in the sun. So if it's in you, don't give up." Okay. So you're saying that if it's in you to keep trying, keep trying. Okay. Okay. AKA Perez, good to see you. Wendy says, no, we're not bored. We need to figure out a plan. It seems like the more negative exposure the org gets, people will be leaving. And I hope that that is the right thing. But we all know that they don't look at the exposure as a means for them to wake up. They look at it as a means of Satan trying to take over the organization. They're thinking, okay, this is the stuff that they say is going to happen. Now they're plotting against us. This is all the negative stuff that's supposed to happen that the Bible says is going to happen to us at the end. So are they going to even look at it as something that needs to be investigated, or people trying to speak ill of the organization as they say is prophesied in the Bible? That's the issue. Great Dane says, and the younger Google savvy will take over. Maybe. But a lot of those younger Jehovah's Witnesses are just as indoctrinated as the older ones. KB says, racism is alive and well in young people under the guise of classism. Exactly. I think that's exactly what I was saying. So yeah, I agree, KB. Latonya Smith at Great Dane says, I thought similar. The younger ones who have access to far more information than the older ones. Okay. Willow B says, it's hard for the younger generation to accept the mind control of the org nowadays. Willow B, but is that really true though? Is that really true? Is it really hard for them to accept the indoctrination? Is that true, and what are we basing that on? Latonya Smith says, third, fourth, fifth generations are leaving, so I think the younger ones see through things easier. Maybe so. AKA says 8 million is not so much when you realize the total number of Jehovah's Witnesses is less than the entire population of the state of New Jersey. Okay. Great Dane says, with completely no evidence, it is my opinion that 1/4 are PIMO, half are questioning, half doubts, and 1/4 are truly in to the end. Great Dane, what does PIMO mean? Maybe am I ignorant of something? I don't know what that means. Latonya Smith says 8 million is fabricated, I think. Why do you think that is a fabricated number? Tracy Compost says, yes, if you are not living or depressed from waiting, move on and live. Be there if they need you. You said it correctly. Sounds like compo, but it's French. Okay. Okay. Thank you, John Smith. Thank you, Great Dane. Physically in, mentally out. Thank you. I'm trying to read all of these chats, all these conversations. Everybody's saying so much good stuff, man. Wendy says, I agree with Willow B. The young ones are using social media and networking in many countries to leave. What percentage of the witnesses in the organization now do you think are 18 and under? Like what percentage do we think that the people in that 8 million number, if that is indeed a true number, how many of those people are under the age of 18, do we think? Speculating. How many of them are under the age of 18? Because while the young ones very well may be using social media, are they truly using it to walk away? We're all speculating. I mean, from what I've seen, I still see very, very young people in the organization, and they don't seem to be wanting to walk out. So Great Dane says 20%. Go ahead and call in, Willow B. So of the 8 million, you think a fifth of that, 20%, is under the age of 18. Call in, Willow B. Go ahead and call in. Self-care says probably 15%. Probably 15%. Okay. So let's go with either one of those. Let's go with either one of those. Let's go with either of those and say, okay, if it's 20%, that's like 1.6 million. Latonya Smith says, for years, the yearbooks do not seem to add up to 8 million. Latonya Smith also says, Latonya is going in. I appreciate it, Latonya. Keith, you have to remember, the ones getting baptized are born-ins, not those coming from the outside. Forget what video brought that out. Okay. Okay. What you got to say, Willow B? Go ahead and call in. Tracy says, I agree with them. That's a good number, in which case they are going to have to recruit hard. To survive. Okay. So do we think that there is enough information out there to quell new recruits? Is there enough negative information out there to keep new people from wanting to be a part of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, aka the Jehovah's Witnesses? Because even if that number is not completely 8 million, let's say it's not, even if it's 5 million or 6 million, there's still a lot of people. I mean, it's more than Scientology, and Scientology is huge, right? There is still a lot of people. And those people, none of them are gonna die. Remember, none of them are gonna die. Remember, they're all gonna keep going all the way till the end. You remember that, right? So even if they are having a harder time getting new people, there's still millions of them. KB says, are they even trying to recruit though? It looks more like the witnesses are just given busy work with the carts and the iPad stuff. When I've been downtown, I've seen them with those carts. And surprisingly enough, I see people walking up to them. People are wondering what they're doing, what they're selling, what they're talking about. People literally come up to them, and I'm always thinking, really? Will there be more than enough info? It's just people have to have the courage to run away. Not being rude. Later, watch Kim and Mike's new video on the attendance and actual numbers. Yeah, I've seen that video, Miss Bailey, and you're right. I mean, even I've talked to people here. I don't want to put anybody's names out there, but I've talked to people here, and they're telling me how they're having to go to a different Kingdom Hall because there's not enough people. So they're closing congregations and merging them into merging different congregations into one because there were just not enough people coming. And that's here in Nashville. Now, I know if that's happening here, it's happening in a lot more places. So with things like that happening, they're still not concerned enough to say we need to walk away. If all these people are walking away to the point that the Kingdom Halls are no longer filled and they're having to consolidate to keep the Kingdom Halls, viable, it would seem that more people would start walking away. But from the person that told me about them having to consolidate these congregations into one Kingdom Hall, and I'm talking like 3 or 4 different congregations being consolidated into one Kingdom Hall, there are still people who aren't thinking about leaving. Because I even asked this person, I said, do you not think that with this happening that the people in these congregations aren't thinking about leaving? And the person was like, no, they're not they're still in. They're not going anywhere. They're still in. The thing we have to remember too, guys, the thing with them is when something that we perceive that we think they would perceive as negative happens, they don't look at it as a negative. They look at it as prophecy. So what do we do? How do we look at that? What's going on, Cult Life? Daniel Brown says they've been working his community hard this year. Okay. Latonya Smith says the ones not wanting to leave just want to be with their families. Shunning is an old, effective control method. KB says, I think the preaching work is just ruse right now. And the real behind the scenes stuff is the real estate and getting people giving over their estates. People are giving over their estates. Like I said, even here in Nashville, they're selling all of those Kingdom Halls, those old ones. They're selling them. They're selling luxury properties too. Guys, have you guys seen where the Watchtower has all of this luxury property that they're selling off for millions upon millions of dollars? Have you guys seen that? Let me know if you guys have seen that. They have these luxury multi-million dollar properties that they're selling off. Tracy Campo says, any advice on reaching out to a friend who married into it? I know she knows she's not allowed to talk to me. They do not knock on doors like they used to, at least here. John Sell says, playing more and more on emotions and less on actual Bible teaching. Yeah, Willow B. The ones walking up to the carts are XJWs. That's funny. Great Dane says, the answer, I don't have it, but I know one component. Every current JW should be aware of about JW Facts or John Cedar or JC and Lady C channels. There must be a go-to place that they know about. That's a very interesting point. That's a very interesting point. But the issue is that those places are here now. Those places are here now. They by and large refuse to even look at them. So that there are already places like that. Miss Bailey says it's happening all over. K&M is doing nail and coffin videos, and there are massive closures worldwide. I think it's due to the lawsuits. JW still has the best way of reaching lost people. Miss Bailey says old Kingdom Halls used to have 120 on average. Now they barely have 50 to 60 in daily attendance. Room is empty. Wendy Seeley says not to worry. Some countries like Russia have banned them completely. Negative exposure is taking its toll. Yes, Kingdom Hall closures are on a grand scale. I agree with everything that everyone is saying. I agree with what everyone is saying. But we have to remember now that the ones who may be leaving, right, are going to be in the category of the freed minds. But what we're going to have to remember, though, is that the ones who remain are going to be the most indoctrinated and the most intent on staying, because they're going to feel like they're the last ones who actually are staying to the end for Jehovah. They are going to be the most diehard ones. And those 9 times out of 10, I would wager, those are going to be the ones that we know personally and are going to have the most connection with. Those are going to be the ones, the older ones. They're not going anywhere. They are not going anywhere. Miss Bailey says, my sister tried to tell my mom about the new child abuse cases. My mom argued with her and then hung up. Her attitude is, get your life together. Who cares about negative news? Great Dane says, no, they don't refuse to look at them. They're looking at them and waking up. The challenge is to get current JWs to know about a site name. Really? Okay. So if they are truly waking up, who are the ones that are we thinking that the ones who are actually waking up, the younger ones? The younger ones are the ones who are waking up. Even if that is the case, that is a very, very small number of the organization. Like we said earlier, I think Great Dane said she thinks about 20%. Self-care said 15%. So that's about 1 million to 1.6 million people. That is a dent. It's a lot of people, but if it's 1 million, that leaves 7 million left. If it's 1.6, that leaves 6.4 million people left. So there's still a lot of people. Are we saying that we need to be more proactive in creating some type of organization for XJWs an organization for people to go to once they leave the organization? Would it help if there was one entity, not in one place, but one united entity in several places that would give some type of refuge to people who have left the organization? I mean, they do it all the time with everything else. There are battered shelters for people. There are homeless shelters. There are, rehabs. Would it help if there was somewhere for people to go who have left the organization? That way we would have a place to care for freed minds while we were still trying to free other minds. What do you guys think? What do we think? What do we think, guys? Yeah, that was a very interesting clip that he had. I was watching it while I was in between rides, and I never really knew about that. Great Dane says, but the older ones will die out. The JW religion will never die out. There are still Bible students around from which the JW splintered. Latonya Smith says, there are a much higher number of younger ones when you count a few kids per couple, so I'd say 70%. Latonya, are you saying 70% of the organization are kids? 18 and younger? And then we have to look at, too, the makeup of the organization itself. We realize that the majority of the organization are women, right? What is the thing that's keeping so many women in this organization? Women completely outnumber the men in this organization. Completely. I mean, I remember in my congregation that I went to, there were so many more women than men. And then when you go to the assemblies, it's like, if you're trying to find a woman, it's like a treasure trove. There were women everywhere. We used to just go girl watching at the assemblies. Miss Bailey said the young ones are leaving. A bunch of the youth recently got this fellowship recently. Really? They got disfellowshipped? The young ones did? What they was doing? Sexual immorality. Gonna have to be a place of solace because people need comfort in loneliness, not being able to talk to family and other health care needs. JJ Jr. says, if only Christians had the same approach as the JWs. They do, don't they? Willow B says, that's what I was saying, Miss Bailey. Okay. That's a good point, self-care boss. A place of solace because people need comfort in loneliness, not being able to talk to family and other healthcare needs. It's difficult, man. It's difficult. Who do we have in a place like that? The issue is these people still don't, a lot of us don't have anyone to talk to professionally. Going to a therapist is high as hell. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I almost lost everything, because I was going to a therapist. That junk was expensive. I was spending about I spent so much money on therapy. All right, Wendy, get some rest. Hope you feel better. Cult Life says, I just attended the London Excel protest and I found that the unbaptized JWs who don't go anymore but believe the concept came across like fanatical nutters. All sorts in these cults. Really? The unbaptized JWs who don't go anymore but believe the concept came across like fanatical nutters. Great Dane says, it sounds like you want to set up a XJW shelter. Is that what you're suggesting? Maybe set up with psychiatric help and housing? But yeah, I mean, isn't that how they do things with everyone else who has been abused? This is an abusive situation. Wouldn't we need something like that? Wouldn't there would have to be something like that. There would have to be some type of shelter for these people. A lot of them have nowhere to go, honestly. So what do? Latonya Smith says, the women are more prone to religion, and women are made to feel they couldn't make it on their own once they're in a cult. But see, that's the thing, and it's smart because they know that if you get the women, the men are going to follow, which is, really pitiful to me because that going forward, there is absolutely no way that I could sit and watch my woman go and listen to some dude, like look up at some man and look up to this man all the time, 3 or 4 times a week, listening to these dudes get on the platform telling my wife what she needs to do. That is all that is making the women dependent upon the elders and making the men sheep. Because think about it. What other situation would some man allow another man to constantly teach his woman something? It's ingenious the way religion works, but there's absolutely no way. I mean, goodness gracious, with me, when I was still with my ex-girlfriend, I was trying to teach her to play chess one night, and we went to a hookah bar, and I'm sitting teaching her how to play chess, and this other dude came up and was watching us play, and he was trying to interject and tell her how to do stuff. And I had to tell this dude, bro, I don't need your help to teach my woman how to play chess. This is our night. You all right, bro? But you can go ahead and go somewhere else now, because he worked there, and he was what we call dirty macking. He was trying to mac on the low, and he thought I didn't know. He was trying to mac on the low, and he thought I didn't know. So I had to tell this dude, look, bruh, I got this. I don't need your help teaching my girl how to play chess. You can go on back to work and get somebody a Coke, because that's what they're paying you for, right? So he kind of looked at me, and my girl kind of smiled because she knew I knew what the fuck this dude was doing. But my point is, they know that they can get the men if they get the women. And I have never understood how a man could sit and watch his woman basically groveling at this man. It's crazy. So they are getting all these women, and then all these women are in the organization are attracting all the men, and the men aren't going anywhere. Love of the Sun says, that's true. It kind of emasculates a man. Yeah, it does. JJ Jr. said, right, Kay? Yeah, man. That's just real. That's just how it works. Love of the Sun said, oh, I want to learn how to play chess so bad. It's not that hard. It just takes time to think it through. You have to be really three-dimensional in your thinking. That's what I had to learn. My uncle is really good at chess because he's a robber and a con man. And con men are really good at thinking three-dimensionally. You know, people who rob people and jip people out of their money. They're real good at thinking all the way through something. So it made him really good at chess. He's the one who taught me. I learned how to play chess from a robber. What's up, King Des? King Des says, K-Fish, you are describing what happened with my parents. Broke up their marriage. What happened, King Des? What do you mean? Latonya Smith says, I play chess. Okay. Well, Latonya Smith says, I play chess. Chess. She says, I play chess. Great Dane says, a con man would never fall for this cult. No, the con man would start it. The con man would start it, and the con men are in charge of this one. Latonya Smith says, I was thinking about starting a house of shunned here in my area. Excuse me. King Dad says how the woman looks up to other men instead of her husband. That is true. That is true. Man, the cult is crazy. They feed the woman the ultimate man-father concept to the woman who long for a better situation than they find themselves in. That is true. What's up, Exclusive? Good to see you, young lady. That's right. And they do. The women will, and that's not just in the JW organization. I think that's in Christianity in general. The women will come home and tell you what the preacher said that they should, what they told them that you guys should do in your house. Well, Reverend such and such said we shouldn't be doing this and that you shouldn't be doing that. And I would be like, Reverend such and such can kiss my ass in this bitch. I will never, ever in life allow another man to dictate to me through my woman. Hell no, that's not happening. If you want to listen to Reverend such and such so bad, go on and pack your shit up and go to Reverend such and such's house. Oh, his wife won't let you stay there? Then you need to go to the damn XJW shelter that me and Great Dane getting ready to build. Then that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. You need to go to this JW shelter me and Great Dane about to build. You don't tell my woman to tell me what to do in my own damn house. And think about it. These dudes are actually paying these men to tell their woman to tell them what to do. Not only is your woman listening to him, but your woman is paying him. That is some pimp shit. That is some pimp shit. This dude is standing up on the stage, lifted high above everyone else. Women paying them, throwing themselves at him. The Reverend has his pick of the women in the organization. The Reverend can fuck your woman. If she looks at him as powerful enough, he will take your woman and do stuff to her. You look around and he be in there fucking on your woman. You saw when that dude went in there and killed that, went in there and tried to holler at that preacher because he was, fucking on his wife. And the preacher shot him. and killed him in the church. I don't know what this has to do with the topic. JJ Jr. says she's giving 3 offerings. Yeah. She's giving 3 offerings, all right. Mouth, booty, and vagina. This video is going to get flagged. Cult Life says, King Dead says, 2 Timothy 3:6-7, for of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts. Latonya Smith says, you know I'm getting mad hearing you talk about these filthy comments. I'm in. Oh, that's funny. All right, man. Get some rest, Cult Life. Great Dane says, I was a grant writer for a few years. Did well at it. Also worked at a community action agency. Perhaps we should talk. Great Dane, I love talking to you. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have a conversation with you. Always a pleasure. Let's take a quick little ad break, guys. Quick little ad break. You know, I really am happy to see Self-Care doing her thing with her business, Couture Massage, at 1439 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Her website is www.couturemassage.com. Her office number is 615-746-7606. She is out here trying to make sure that musicians and entrepreneurs are able to become a self-care boss. She also has her own book that you can download, an ebook called Becoming a Self-Care Boss, 31 Days to Self-Discovery. You can pick that up at www.couturemassage.com/shop. So if you are in the Nashville or Murfreesboro area, you need to get a nice massage, just some self-care. Give a shout out to our sister. Thank you so much, Self-Care Boss. Yes, Great Dane. If you would like to send me an email, my email is on the screen right now. It is kfitsmylife@hotmail.com. That is in the description. Also, Self-Care Boss's contact information is in the description as well. If you guys would like to support the channel with Patreon, through Patreon, it is in the description as well. Patreon, kfitsmylife. Actually, the Patreon is patreon.com/kfits. That is in the description. PayPal as well. paypal.me/kfitsmylife. Yes, Great Dane, email me at kfitsmylife@hotmail.com. Let's get this thing figured out. Also, guys, don't forget that the Teespring store is open. We have a lot of different shirts. All the Get Out or the Got Out shirts in all different styles, different colors. We also have the No Shunning shirt. Comes in all shirts, tanks, tri-blend, women's tri-blend, a super soft shirt, hoodies, tanks. We also have the Yes We Take Blood Now shirt. We also have the Love My Life shirt. And with that one, we also have the Love My Life tights for the ladies. We also have the Apostate. And with those, we have the socks as well. And we also have the tights and the Apostate for the ladies as well. And we, of course, have the hoodies for the Apostate as well. So, guys, if you would like to get some of the merch, you can visit that at the Teespring store, teespring.com. /stores/KFitsMyLife. Actually, I think it's just teespring.com/KFitsMyLife. It is in the description. There's also going to be some jewelry that's going to be in the store as well. So once that gets popping, we'll have some jewelry in the store, all right? So, yeah, guys. All right, let's get back to the show for a second. How long have we been here? Yeah, I've heard a lot of women really liking those tights. And I'm glad. Just make sure that once you buy them, you send me a picture of you in those tights so I can place them on Instagram and in the community tab. Trust me, I will post them. As we said yesterday, we showed exclusive picture, and she looked super awesome in the K Fits My Life shirt. She looked super awesome in that shirt. So just let me know when you purchase them. Send us all a shot of you in them, and we will post it on Instagram and on the community tab on the YouTube channel. Love of the Sun says she's just as lost in the sauce as he is. That's what cult following will do to you. She's doing what she thinks the Lord wants her to do. Let's not forget preachers smashing men and little boys who preach. Man, preachers is just going in, literally. So yeah, you're right. They are smashing everybody, man. Smashing everyone. Self-Care Boss says she also visits other cities and does speaking events. So please reach out to Self-Care Boss and retreats. Let me know about all of that info too, and I will make sure that I have that in the next show, because I'm gonna run your ad all the time, Self-Care Boss. I appreciate you being in the show, and I think it's just cool to be able to support everybody else that's in here. So thank you. King Day says, you got merchandise. The elders and ministerial service are going to jump on you. Man, they can kiss my whole, man, they can kiss, man, whatever, man. Fuck around and get me suspended off of YouTube talking about them. Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be jewelry too. There will be jewelry as well. I'm trying to do a little something, Aramis. I'm trying to be like you, man. I'm trying to be like you, my brother. So how long have we been on here? An hour and a half? So yeah, we'll get together. I think that will be something that we can talk about. Now, tomorrow's show is going to be a very personal one. But tomorrow's show is called The Breaking Point When You Say Enough is Enough. All right? So tomorrow we're going to talk about the point at which you say, enough is enough. I am done with these family members. And I am going to talk about how that happened with me. And hopefully other people will want to chime in and talk about things that have happened with them. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. So yeah, this week is going to have some interesting shows. Same. It's on the screen, Great Dane, in the upper left corner. That's going to be the time, all time. Sunday through Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Central. Yeah, Aramis, I think we're back on track with the shows, man. I had to take some time and get my finances in order, man. Like I said, all that therapy, it took a lot out of me financially. I almost lost everything, and that's something that I'm going to talk about too. because it was a lot going on in that time. So yeah, I think that'll be something that we'll talk about tomorrow. So yeah, we'll have that show tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central. Thank you so much for being in the show. I think we this is a topic that can be revisited because it's such a deep topic. I'm not really sure how we can get through and really figure, how we can really figure out what to do for this topic. It's kind of a polarizing one, but I think it's a good one to talk about. So anyway, guys, I think I'm going to hop off here and go do some Ubering for a while. Maybe I might just get something to eat and go to bed. Because I try to take 1 or 2 days off per week from doing that. Because I'm so busy, I'll get tired from just driving so much. So I might take the night off and go to sleep. But anyway, try to get some self-care in my life. So tomorrow, same time, 7:30 p.m. Central. Guys, thank you so much for rocking with me. I really appreciate it. I look forward to doing these shows all day. Pretty much all day I'll be sitting and thinking about how the show is going to go, what I want to talk about. So I really appreciate you guys, your support. It really means a lot to me. So thank you for always coming through, calling in, chatting it up. It's always a great time. So I will see you all tomorrow. 7:30 p.m. Central Time. All right. You guys have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Live your life, my lifers. All right. I will talk to you all soon. Peace.